Ishwar, you can start.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Mr. Fawzul Hamid, Chairman of our College Board of Governors, our principals, Mr. Rizvi Marikar, Deputy Principal, Mr. Razin Hassan, Vice Principals, Sectional Heads, Teachers, Keynote Speaker, Mr. A.S.M. Muzammil, and our speakers, Mr. Muhammad Amin, Muhammad Shian Hanif, and Mr. Rifkan Kalam, and all our participants. On behalf of the Zaira College University alumni, I would like to welcome all of you for today's event, Meet Your Role Model. To start with this event, I would like to call Mr. Hamad, one of our members from ZUA and an undergraduate from University of Rajarata, to recite Kirat. Hamad, it's over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Hamad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي إلى نوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عظيم صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Hamad. Alhamdulillah, from last year onwards, we were able to successfully conduct several Meet Your Role Models program to motivate and encourage our own brothers who studies in advanced level. Today, we are mainly focusing on our advanced level commerce stream students. Actually, I am very excited to join this program since I also did my A-levels in 2013 from the commerce stream. By the way, this will be our last program which will conduct under Meet Your Role Model series in year 2021. So let's proceed to our agenda. To deliver the welcome speech, I warmly invite our Deputy Principal, Mr. Razin Hassan. Sir, it's over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. A very good evening to all of you. Respected Mr. Muzammil, Board of Governors, former member of Board of Governors, Mr. Amin, a distinguished old boy who is always behind this ZUA programs, Brother Shahan Hanif, another enthusiastic young man. Then we have Rifkan Kalam. Dr. Akram is unable to participate with us for a valid reason. And then Ishfaq Smith and the organizer, Mr. Azri, and my dear teachers who are participating, representing advanced level from Zaira College, and my ever-loving children. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope Chairman is here. Azri?
Chairman sir is still, he didn't join.
Right, okay. Once again, Assalamu alaikum. Very good evening to all of you. It is my great pleasure to be here and deliver my welcome speech in order to address students of commerce stream from Advanced Zaira College. We have conducted two important programs targeting commerce stream and then art stream. These are the program targeting commerce stream. My dear children and all the stakeholders here, we have a brand for commerce, especially at Zaira College. We always maintain 85 and above results as our target. And anybody can keep their trust at Zaira College for commerce stream and come here. But still we feel that they are also part of our brethren, and we need to give them enough guidance. And of course, the children from commerce stream have a lot of avenues, inshallah, in future. And moreover, We have a good number of distinguished members from Zahra College, and our all boys are doing really well in this commerce field in various subfields. It is our honor to invite them all, and some of the members are unable to take part for some reason, but still we have the main figures here to conduct today's program in a very successful manner. And I also understand the teachers had a very important Parents Teachers Association event in the morning, participating in the AGM and the SGM at the college today. I understand not all of them will be able to take part, but still some teachers will join. I welcome them all. I convey my sincere thanks to all of you, and I appreciate your continuous support to uplift the children both personally and professionally. We always anticipate your continuous participation. Meanwhile, once again, I thank all our distinguished members who are sitting in our panel today. We look forward to work together, inshallah, throughout the program. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, sir. So next to do the keynote speech, I would like to invite Mr. A.S.M. Muzammil, Chairman and Management Director at Ceylon Foods Private Limited, and he is a former independent non-executive director of Amanat Takaful. He has served over 40 years in senior management position in commerce industry. He holds a master's in business analysis from Lancaster University, UK, and he is a member of CIMA and ACCA and served as the president of SIMA Sri Lanka. He was one of the council members at Morato University, Slade, SLSI and ITI, and member of the Joint Ministers Forum and the Chamber of Commerce. Sir, it's over to you.
Thank you, Azri, for those kind words. Anyway, these members of the ZUA, school teachers, principal, deputy principal, and students in the A-levels. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me at the outset say that generally when you have the O-level results, the most brightest students end up in the science streams, trying to do medicine and engineering, and the others end up with commerce and arts and so on. But when you really look at it, and just now Mr. Razain Hasan mentioned, the commerce stream and the art stream have generally performed extremely well. And when you look around the past students, you will find that the output from Zahra has been very impressive. Not only from Zahra, I'm saying from any school, has been quite impressive. And they have performed extremely well and done very well in life. This, I think, in a way, is something that we have to look at. And I'm glad that ZUA and the Center of Excellence have taken the trouble to provide this sort of guidance, which is what you call career guidance, which is not actively pursued, not only at Zahra, but in every other school, as a very important area for to help our students to move forward. Because you see, when you pass the O-levels, you either want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, and okay, now we have started the commerce stream at Zahra. It was not there when I was at school. But everything else is a huge area which nobody takes the trouble to highlight and show the students the opportunities available in those areas, and particularly in the commerce stream. Now, if you look at the commerce stream, one talks of becoming an accountant, but then they don't think of it any more than that. But then there's a huge field. Now, I think commerce stream, you teach them economics, you teach them business studies, which involves marketing, and marketing means advertising, all that. There are a lot of areas, and even the legal profession is open. These have to be highlighted, and students
boys, appreciate it if you all can mute your mic, please.
So, Mr. Muzamil, I think your mic is went on mute. Could you please check?
Sorry. Right. So that they can take it forward. I would like to highlight one aspect that is quite important and for us to recognize. What is called hard skills and what is called soft skills. Now, when you take a doctor, the doctor's job is to diagnose, and then once he diagnoses, there is the way to address the problem. You have an infection, you give antibiotics. You have a block in the heart, you operate. You have something. So there is the very hard solution for whatever problems the doctor faces. And if you take a doctor, he is forever a doctor. His scope is limited to that. I know of a very senior consultant who was so tired of being a doctor that he opted to take a few years off to become the secretary to the Ministry of Health. And when he got back, he was very unhappy, but he again had to continue to be a doctor. Same, in a way, engineers are also like that, but engineers are a little more flexible. But for a commerce student, he can become an accountant, and then he can move into business. He can do marketing, he can do other things like soft skills, developing soft skills. Things that you see, if you talk to Mr. Fawzul Hamid, the chairman, he talks of branding. Now, Zahira is a brand. What does that mean? You know, it means it doesn't show a meaning, but it has a lot of meaning to that. So like that, the advertising skills are all soft skills that one has to develop in order to be successful. So these sort of things are the inherent in the commerce field. So one has the scope of development is very wide. So let us, if you were to take the student in the A-levels, every other the student in other fields opts to go to the university. When he is aiming to get into the university at the end of the 2 years of A-level studies. Now, but for a commerce student, when he passes the A-levels, the range is very wide, and particularly if he wants to stay in Sri Lanka, it is actually better for him to do a professional course, like becoming a chartered accountant or ACCA or CIMA or AAT or whatever. It is better for him to do that in order to get gainful employment. But the fact that he's missing the degree is also an important factor, because degree gives the development of skills and exposure, which should not be missed also. Now, yesterday I was talking to Azri, and he was telling me that the universities in Sri Lanka is able to provide, able to facilitate students to do these professional courses even while being in the university. Now that's an excellent the opportunity that our students in the commerce stream has. Now these are factors that one has to take into account when advising these students on how to take their career forward. Because at 16 years of age or 17 years of age, it's very difficult for a student to visualize the scope that he has in the future. So he must be able to be, he must be informed of the opportunities and the scope that he can have if he does gets onto the right attitude and frame of mind to do the right things at the right time. Of course, everybody in the A-levels have to work hard and make sure that their results in the exams are excellent. But then beyond that, they will have to work in multiple areas in order to develop themselves, including, for instance, you have to make sure that your English knowledge is very good. Muslims generally find that they generally do their English well, but we must be able to master the language. Then we also have to take IT as a main important thing that will take you forward in life. You have to know your IT. These are general things. Besides that, you know, being at Zahira, we are always moving amongst Muslims. Even when you are at home, your neighbors are mainly Muslims. And when you come to school, you are moving among Muslims. You don't have much of an opportunity to meet and engage with other communities. But when you go out into the world, you are only 10% of the outside world is Muslims. So it is very important that we cultivate relationships. And that way, university life gives you that in-campus life, I mean. When you go into campus, live in the campus, or work with the other students in the campus, you engage yourself and build your life around all the other communities, which is, I think, a very important aspect that we must not miss sight of. These are the aspects that one has to look at in the overall development of the student, particularly at this level. He must be able to visualize him getting into the world and moving out into the world. If he were to get into, for instance, he get into business, he will have to understand that he has to move with the rest of the communities in this country. And if you were to go abroad, he will find that he is meeting different cultures, different environments, and he must be able to work in those environments and succeed in life. I think I must have taken my time allocation by now. Let me just conclude, because I am saying some of these things are out of my own experience. So I think I might also just mention a few words about how I have progressed in my career. You see, I think I got in O-levels, I think I got the best results for in that year. And I naturally went into the science stream and ended up doing botany, zoology, physics, and chemistry. Those days we had 4 subjects. And but then I ended the first year, and something made me realize that maybe I'm not geared to become a doctor. So I decided that I must check myself trying to do maths. Fortunately for me, at the end of the year, the school holidays coincided with Ramadan holidays. So we had a fairly long holiday. And I borrowed some notes from one of my friends who is in the math stream. and worked on my maths during that holidays. And in January of the next year, I went to the principal and told him I want to move to maths. Of course, there was a lot of objections, protests, particularly from my bio teachers. But I insisted on doing that, and I started going for my maths classes. So I did applied physics, chemistry, and pure maths. And at the end of the year, sat for the A-levels. And fortunately, I again was able to get the best results in the school. And I was admitted to the Morato University to do engineering. But even then, that didn't, something was again pricking me, because we did not have career guidance. We did not have people telling us what to do. We had to make our own decisions. So I went to the principal and told him, look here, sir, I would want to, I'm thinking of doing accountants. So he told me, okay, if you want to do accountancy, I will. I said I would probably want to do chartered or CIMA. Then he told me, okay, I will introduce you to two accountants. He telephoned Professor Furkan and told him whether he can give an appointment for me to see him. And he telephoned Mr. Rahman Hadi, the partner at Burahadi and Company, for me to see him. So I went and met these two gentlemen, and then took some time to decide. In the meantime, University asked me whether I like to do architecture. There was various other courses they asked me. But then I decided, okay, I'm going to do CIMA. And I ended up by doing CIMA, which enabled me to immediately get on to a job and finance my own studies. And then, say halfway through CIMA, I moved into an accountant's job in a smaller company. And then I worked there for about 3-4 years, and then decided that something is missing, so I have to rectify it. So I got admission to Lancaster University in UK and proceeded to England. So I did my degree there, stayed for an extra year, finished my JDPMA, and then returned back. So I worked for this company for another 10 or 15 years, and then decided, okay, I'm going to go into business, and with a friend of mine, set up my own company, and we formed a BOA company for exports, and we are still continuing. So that briefly gives some sort of a career. So I think the thoughts that I have expressed are based on my own experiences, and also what I feel is the students should be able to take forward, particularly the soft skills that are required for this type of job. Accountancy by itself is a hard skill. You go have what is right and what is wrong. Medicine is a hard skill. What is right and what is wrong is there. Engineering is also to some extent. But the moment you get into the field of business, we go into marketing, advertising, interpersonal relationships, you are moving into an area which is not very well addressed, particularly at this level. And I think it is important that our people develop those skills. With that, I will conclude. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I wish all the students very well in what they are doing. And hopefully they will benefit from this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your valuable words, sir. We are so delighted to have you today. So let's move to the main event in our agenda. Unfortunately, Dr. Akram couldn't be able to join our program because he had to join an emergency. On behalf of Dr. Akram, one of our speakers, Mr. Shihan Hanif, will moderate today's event. Before I hand over the program to Shihan Hanif, I'll give a brief introduction about him. He has an MBA in Business Administration and Management from University of Wales. He completed his BSc in Finance at University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, and he has a Bachelor of IT from University of Colombo. And he's the founder and director of socialservice.lk and currently working as a senior lecturer at JMC. Mr. Shihan Hanif, you can take over the program.
Thank you, Ishfaq. So first of all, I would like to welcome all the students and all the lecture panel and the speakers. So this is an important time for our students, right? So we have students who have completed their A-levels and who are doing the A-levels in 2021 and 22. So before I move on, we have a introduction. We'll have an introduction session on our speakers. Right, so first of all, I would like to welcome Mr. Muhammad Amin to have an introduction. So he is a graduate from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He has he's the head of investment banking group support department in Malabar Bank, Kuwait. So, sir, this is for you. So you can have an introduction. Mr. Amin.
Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi ashrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hulul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Assalamu alaikum. My dear beloved principal and Mr. Deputy Principal, Mr. Razim Hassan, members of the Board of Governors, and Mr. S.A. Muzammil, my beloved teachers, and the members of ZUA, and most importantly, my fellow dear brothers and students of Zaira College who are doing the A-level exams. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Just already my brother Hanif has given a brief introduction of me. On my allocated 5 minutes, I don't want to take any of my much time. So I will try to dedicate most of my time for the benefit of the students. So I will start with, I will go to the level of the students and then I will just speak to them. So first of all, I must tell you, A-levels is not so easy like the O-levels. For me, I treat A-levels like 1,000 times tougher than the O-levels. If you are to get into a state university like Sri Jayawardhanapura. Because recently I was listening to a lecture of one of my colleagues who is now the head of the UGC and he was the former vice chancellor of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University, Professor Sampath Amartunga. He told that almost all the students now entering the Sri Jayawardhanapura University are with 3 A's. So if you are to enter Sri Jayawardhanapura University, you have to at least come with 3 A's, and especially from Colombo, because Colombo is district, you don't have underprivileged districts, so you have to get the highest results. So please treat the A-level exams as very tough and very competitive if you want to enter like the management faculty at Japura. And I will touch upon about the studying techniques which I developed during my A-levels. I am from the surroundings of Ananda College, so most of my friends were Sinhalese, and in addition to my Zaira College friends, all my friends were Sinhalese. So we had I always used to network with the non-Muslims, which Mr. Muzammil also stressed. It is very important. You don't have to move only with your Muslim friends. You need to network and get knowledge. So in order to network in the best place for you to go and do a joint study and share knowledge is, we used to go to the Colombo Public Library. So there's a study hall there. So we used to go after school, maybe 2-3 hours we used to spend. So we used to network with all students from Ananda, Nalanda, Royal, Lumbini, then DS, So then we used to share knowledge, discuss things in the canteen in the public library. So that's why we used to share knowledge, and even some knowledge, especially for a subject like business studies, where you need to do a lot of research. So a lot of other children will come with so much of knowledge. And the A-level, one of the main constraints is the time management, which is very, very critical for you all. Because we used to, if I am to give some of my past thoughts of how I manage the time, is I used to do during the morning time a lot on the theory, and in the afternoon the practice sessions. So when we do a subject, some sessions, so I used to do the short notes. So I used to keep the short notes ready. And if I am to just take about a subject like accountancy, so you don't just stick only to the subject of accountancy with the A-level past papers, because to my knowledge, and I cannot disclose certain names, because since there are Japura, my colleagues also, there are a lot of the who paper setters for accountancy is a graduate plus a chartered accountant from Japura. So I would request fellow students to take some past papers from chartered, like intermediate on the company accounts, partnership, liquidations, dissolutions. So try to work on that, because then you can get in Sinhala they call the gamma. So you can get a glimpse of how the more tough papers you do, like the chartered intermediates, the accountancy A-level exams will be like a cakewalk for you. So try to practice the chartered. And on the same, this thing I'll just touch upon is you have to try to aim to get state universities, not private universities. The state universities is not only a degree you get to know a life of a underprivileged student who are come from remote areas. So just to tell you, when I was in the university, I was a recipient of the Mahapala Merit Award. So there were a lot of students who used to get the Mahapala underprivileged. So the way they suffered and how they finished the degree, and now they have done the SLAs and they are holding big, big positions in the government sector, secretary of the ministries. So try to get into the state universities, and that is, it is a life you will enjoy. It's not only paying for a private university and doing a private degree. So try to get into the state universities. And the other thing, if I want to tell about the economics also, I think one of the economics is one of the major papers you all are doing. Try to, in the economics, try to get into the University of Colombo or Jawaharlal and see the library. There are some, there are first year, second year exam papers questions on the macroeconomics, the monetary theory and policy. Try to get into do it, because on most of the paper setters of the lecturers, you can get, even if the papers are tough, you will be able to handle it. So that's why I tell you the A-levels exams are tough. On the third subject, if you are going to the business studies, because business studies is, although it is finance, it's mostly a lot of research. You have to do the latest, the trends and what is the developments in the field. So you need to do a lot of research work. Like you have to go to the Ministry of Treasury website, the Central Bank website, Ministry of Trade and Shipping, so many things you have to do about it. And I think I already absorbed 5 minutes of my time. So there are certain things I will cover in the questions. So since it is dedicated to students, I would prefer the students not only focus on your getting into a degree, but try to do a professional exam like chartered, because chartered is not so costly. Because although I did CIMA and chartered, CIMA was a little expensive, but for a student, I would prefer, during our time also, when we were in the university, we were given the privilege because we got caught in the 88, 89 DAVP troubles. So most of the time universities were closed. So our head of the departments and the vice chancellors gave up the benefit of doing the chartered also. So parallelly now, since I heard that Mr. Muzammil was telling, while in the university you can do the chartered, try to do not only the degree, because with a lot of competition, you need a professional qualification also. So try to do with your degree and the chartered. So I will end up my allotted time. So during the question and answer sessions, I will touch upon some more aspects for my students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amin. It was we got a lot of information from you, and I hope we will have more important tips for our students. So I would call upon Mr. Rifkan. So Mr. Rifkan, he is a graduate from Javahdar University, and he is a chartered finalist and an accountant by profession and a lecturer. So Mr. Rifkan,
Thank you, Shihan. I joined Zaira in 1998 and did my A-levels in 2011. And during my education life, school life, there were many challenges I had to face during my school life. So I was raised by a single parent. My mother, she's an iron lady actually, who sacrificed a lot and faced a lot of hardships, challenges to raise me. She's the main force who is behind me. If I achieve any success in my life, it's all credit, it's to her. So when I was in grade 8, my mom was sick. So I didn't go to school for around 1 month. At that time, some of my relatives suggested my mom to drop me out of school and send me to a job. So I can earn around 250 to 300 per day. But she understood my passion for studies. So she refused those suggestions and encouraged me to continue my education. So it's like this, there is a Quranic verse, with hardship comes ease. Even though I had a lot of challenge, obstacles, Allah always kept a way for me. There were a lot of good souls, well-wishers, teachers who supported me throughout these years to continue my studies. So if I speak about my A-level life, so I came to advanced level class in 2009. I felt that only education would help me to overcome these hardships. So I was so much determined to get 3 years for my A-levels. This is in 2009. So when I was in grade 12, so I worked hard for it. So I want to become actually I had a dream. I wanted to become the best student of the year in my school. So I worked for it. I planned for it from the beginning itself. So with the grace of Allah, I got 3 years with a district rank of 29th and island rank of 57. And my result score was 2.62. And I entered the University of Sri Jayewardenepura. And as I planned, with the grace of Allah, I was the best student of the year 2011. And when the award was announced, each and everyone in the Gafur Hall gave me a standing ovation. And my mother was also in the Gafur Hall. She had a tear joy. I mean, she was really happy. So she was very proud of me. And I felt that I made my mother proud. So we are not rich, but with the education, we can earn respect, and it helps us to achieve some sort of success. It helps us to achieve some sort of dignity in our life. Also, I feel that with this education, it helps us to think like a human actually. So we can understand people very well. So this education helps us to live our life. So I think this A-level is it's like some sort of foundation for us to go beyond that. So A-level is very important. So if someone is thinking about this A-level, it's not important, and it is not important, so we can do something else instead of doing A-levels, you're mistaken actually. So A-levels gives us a foundation to go beyond that and achieve something in our life. So we can build our life based on that. So actually I so that in the participant list, there's Kumudini Miss and Tamara Miss also. And I was always during my A-level times, I trouble them. So especially Kumudini Miss, when she is having a relief period, or she is going out, comes out of the class, I'm always behind her to ask some questions regarding economics. So I'm really happy that they also very happy about me. I know that. So the final thing is, education is very important. So you have to do your studies very well and do your best. Give a best shot at your exams. Don't listen to some negative thought that A level is not important like that. A level is very much important to your life. Thank you, Shans. Over to you.
Thank you, Rifkan. So as Rifkan said, A-level is the key and the most important thing in your life. So similarly, to take myself, I did my A-levels in 2006. Right? I started my career and I joined Zaira College from grade 1. Then I was not one of the best student in the school. In the school life, I was like 28, 29, 30. That was my rank throughout up to my O-levels. But in A-levels, I made a change and I was the best student in the school. So I got the best results and went to Jayawardena University. Right? So that changed my life. Right? So I'm not going to talk more about my achievements or anything. We will focus on how you can achieve and what are the things that you can do during this time period. Right. So there are we have some questions. Right. So we had a questionnaire and we got many questions from the students who have completed their A-levels and who are currently following their A-levels. So what we can do is I will be sharing the questions to our speakers, so they will be providing the answers. Some of the questions I will try to answer from my end. Right, so hope I can see the screen. Yeah. So let me ask the first question. So there is a question who is asking, how many hours should I study per day and how to memorize the materials and how to study smart. Right. So I would like to ask Mr. Amin, will you be able to give an answer for this? Mr. Amin?
Yes. How many hours should I study per day and how to memorize the materials? Now, I would like to categorize students into two categories, like what we used to call in our campus terminology, meter, and what you call the other one is I forget what you call the hard crammers. They call crammers. We call meter and crammer. So it all depends on how. For example, I would prefer at least minimum 5 hours during the normal days, but close to the exams, at least you should put 8 to 10 hours. And especially morning, the best time, because we are blessed, I don't discriminate any non-Muslims here. If you are Muslims, the best time to start studying is after Salatul Fajr, because that's the best time the grasping power is very high. So from the morning till about Luhar time, you can do your theoreticals. And after Luhar till about 5, 6 o'clock, then you can do your practicals, like the practicing of the for the accountancy papers, questions as much as possible. And since I have been told only to limit for 2 minutes for a question, and I don't recommend memorizing anything. You should not memorize anything. So by memorizing, if you miss one sentence, then you had it, because you should try to get the structure of what the content of the material and grasp it. I will not recommend, unless you are a crammer, then you memorize. If you are a meter case, you won't memorize things. So try to keep, some students are used to memorizing, try to keep to the minimum to memorizing, and then going to study smart. because I know theory subjects like economics, business studies, a lot of theory. The no sooner you finish one of the components, like for example, if it's a demand and supply in economics, try to put your short notes. Try to take an A4 paper, fold it into two, and try to do the short notes, and that will be very helpful when you're close to the exams. Because when you're close into the exams, time management is very critical, and because sometimes you will get frustrated, you are running short of time. So try to prepare short notes as possible. That is the study smart way, which I learned this from my other colleagues during my A-level, which I practiced for my chartered seaman, or like Anandians, royalists and all. They used to carry in their pocket the short notes, like the ready reckoners. So, but make sure that you don't lose it. Sometimes there are students who will try to steal it from you towards the close of the exam. So try to make sure that you protect it. I think I answered the question.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Amin.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the key is short notes, and like Mr. Amin said, we also did the same thing when we were doing our advanced level, and also in our universities, we were taking the A4 sheet and dividing into two and making the notes, and that was the everyone who was getting better results, good results, who was in university, they followed the same thing, right? So we'll move on to the second question. How to study at night without sleeping, and how to focus on boring subjects. So I'd like to ask from Mr. Rifkan, who will be answering for this question. Mr. Rifkan.
Actually, I feel there are two types of students. Some students are studying at night time, and some students they are comfortable with that, so they can stay awake until late night and study well. And there are some students they can't stay awake at that time, so they are comfortable with studying it at morning time. So if you are comfortable with nighttime studies, obviously it's good. But if you are not comfortable, please don't do that, because studying doesn't mean just completing the chapters and just memorizing this. So studying is something you should understand what is there. So if you are very much comfortable with studying at night, please do that. So what to study at night time, usually what I prefer is, it's my own experience. I feel that doing accounting stuff, calculation stuff is, those kind of subjects you're studying at nighttime, that is really good. Because let's say if you're studying business studies, it's very much theoretical. So there are a lot of things to memorize, do short notes. So sometimes we might feel sleepy. I'm not discriminating any subject, but I'm saying what I felt. So most of the time I used to, as I remember in my A-levels time, let's say there are 4 students, there are 4 friends. We were gathering at one guy's place and studying. And we don't select business studies or any theoretical subject. We do calculation, accounting, company accounts, partnership, those type. So that, I think that is really good. If you are doing something that keep you awake and very much interesting. Let's say if you are not preferring to, if you are feeling not interested in one chapter, don't do that in night time. Do it in a daytime. So that is what I feel. And if I want to add anything more, and you should decide. So I can't decide at what time you study. So it is you know your strength, your weaknesses. So you should decide at what time I should study and what subject I should study. So I'm just giving my experience and my inputs only. So anything to add, Shihan?
Yes, I also feel the same. So the timing is is actually, it depends on the person, right?
Yes.
So now I used to study, morning is very, morning, I do some other stuff, and I used to study at late night from 10 p.m. to like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we used to study. Right? So timing that, it depending on the person, it depending on the student. Right? And for boring subjects, what we can do is now, if you take commerce, we have Econ, BS, and accounting. Right? So in BS, accounting won't be a boring subject. Definitely, you will be doing questions, and it is an interesting subject. And economics also same, but most of the students feel business studies as boring subject. But what you can do is, as Mr. Amin said, the short notes, we can use the mind map systems. I will anyway, I will show you how to create a mind map. So those type of different techniques can be used when you are studying for boring areas, right? So I think we answered this question, right? So we'll move on to the next question. This is one of the important question. Yeah, I think most of the students will be interested in. So the question says how to cover the study plan in 6 months. Now already all the students who are doing in 2021, so they have lost almost 1.5 years the school physical experience. So everyone is in online, and we know that it was not an easy task for the teachers as well as the students. So within another 6 months, how to recover and how to cover the syllabus and topics and how to get 3 A's. So that was the question I'd like to ask from Rifkan. You'll be able to give me a session.
So as I got to know that this advanced level exam is postponed until October, so I think there are 6 or 7 months more. So usually it happens in August, or now this time we have some extra months till August. So still, if you ask me that, am I late to study? No, obviously you are not late. You can, if you are planned well, if you are focusing on this 6 months is enough for you, even to get a 3 A's actually. Usually most of the students, I mean, these commerce stream students, it's like an ODI innings. So at first 1.5 years, we used to just practice only. But in the last 1 year or 6 months only, we are just playing like a T20. So in this 6 months, still you have time to study well. And if you are planning this, still you can go to 3 A's. So how to study this? First, you should remember there are 3 subjects to do, not only accounts or economics or business studies. You have to focus on all 3 subjects. So let's say if you are getting A's for economics and accounting, but if you are getting failed in business studies, it doesn't good actually. So you have to focus on all 3 subjects. There might be some interesting subject or some boring subject, but still you have to give time for all these 3. So what you can do is, in this 3 months, let's say you haven't done anything until now, from today onwards you are going to study. So what you can do is, you have to have a passion about each subject. So you should have a you should have a determination actually. You should have a determination. Yes, I want to get an A for this subject. So if you haven't covered anything before, you should get your notes properly and you have to study. And usually, let's say, how many hours, if you ask me how many hours I should study, it also depends on you. It doesn't matter if you're studying 24 hours and if it is, you're not getting anything. Even if you're studying 24 hours, it's waste. But if you're studying 4 hours and it is very much effective, then you're doing good. So you should select a time slot for each subject. So at this time, I'm going to study economics. At this time, I'm going to do some accounting subject. And in the rest of time, I'm going to allocate for business studies. So usually in accounting subject, the main for accounting is, it's like, as I feel that you have to do more calculation, more sums. Then only you will understand the gravity of it and you will understand the subject. If you are just learning the theoretical part of it and doing 1 or 2 questions, it doesn't help you actually. You have to study, you have to do more calculations. As Mr. Amin pointed out, if you can do some chartered exam papers also, it's great actually. It will help you to understand the subject, what sort of questions you will get in your exam. Especially past papers is very important, very vital actually. Let's say if you are doing A-levels exams in 2021, at least you have to do 5 years past papers. From these past papers, you can identify the structure of the paper, what sort of question they are repeatedly asking, what sort of question, how actually, if I'm suggesting if you are going to buy a past paper, I recommend you to buy a past paper with answers. So some people are saying, don't just buy a past paper with only with question, don't buy answers. But I feel that it is very helpful if you can buy past papers with answers. And with regard to business studies, obviously, as again Mr. Amin pointed out, if you memorize each and everything, if you miss one part, then everything is gone. But better if you can memorize like a story, create a story on that. As I remember, my colleague Imran is now a teacher in Zahira College. He used to prepare a short note series, and he actually, once I went to his home for studies, he used to teach me this business studies, because I felt little bit uncomfortable with business studies because I am not very good at memorizing. So he's used to teach me. So if you can learn something and teach your friend, it's also very good. So you also get used to this subject and you will get better clarity on that particular subject. And the main important thing is you have to do a lot of MCQs. If you are doing, actually, my teacher used to tell me that there are 2 types of questions. One is essay type questions and one is MCQ. This MCQ actually gives the knowledge rather than, I mean, if you are, I'm not saying you shouldn't do essay type question, but if you are doing more MCQ, it will get a better clarity on subject and it will make you thorough in relevant theory things. And the final thing I want to add that, so let's say from today onwards, there are another 6 months. So still you are going to schools or you are attending online classes. So there are many subjects to cover hereafter. So you should be focused on the class as well. You should listen to your teacher. As I used to in my business studies, in my class, some students are doing what they are doing is they are not concentrated. They are not concentrating on the class. They are not listening to teacher. But what you have to do is actually you have to concentrate. You have to listen to your teacher. And if you have any question, please resolve it at that time. Let's say if you are getting some sort of a question in, let's say, supply, you have to ask question on at the same time. Then only you are engaged with the class and you don't need to remember this again. I mean, you don't need to study this again. So because you are now almost thorough with the subject, because you are involved in the class, you are listening to your teacher. So this kind of thing will help you to plan everything accordingly and go for 3 years.
So thank you, Rifkan. It was I hope most of the students got a lot of input from that. And I also want to add a few more things to this. Now you have 6 months. If I have 6 months for my A level, what I will do is, first thing, let's say I have not studied anything. I have not studied anything. I'm going to start fresh. Right? So I'll show you what I will be doing. First thing I am going to do is, this is your syllabus. Right? This is your business studies. This is business studies, and this is economics. I'll show you the accounting. This is the accounting. Okay. So the first thing is you need to know what are the subject, what are the topics that you have to study. Okay. So grade 12 and grade 13. So if you take business studies, in grade 12 you have 12 topics. In grade 13 you have another 7 topics. Okay. So categorize them, have subjects as the topics with you, and for each topic you have to do, if you take business studies, you can do a mind map, and you can take the past papers questions, and one by one you can complete. If you take economics, grade 12 6 and grade 13 6. So likewise, first thing is get your syllabus and organize it. And accounting has 16 chapters, right? So one by one you can get it. And also, as Rifkan said, past papers is the key, right? So most of the students, if you ask from the students who have, got through to university, we have been in the university and we know the culture and we know the students who have, get best results. So if you ask from anyone, everybody will say the key for 3 A's is the past paper, right? So I'll show you how to, now once you get the topics in, you have to analyze the past papers as Mr. Amin and Mr. Rifkan said, right? This is something which I used to do when I was doing my advanced level and higher education. If this is the accounting, let's say, now in 2019, the accounting syllabus has been changed. Right? So you analyze. This is the second paper. As Rifkan said, even MCQ you can analyze. If you take 2019, right? How does the questions came? Right? There are 7 questions, 40 marks each. Question number 1 is company accounts, and case 1. Question number 2, question number 3. So likewise, you analyze. So you know each year which question that you get. So you can see company account is every year. That's the first question. So you know what are the questions that you need to focus on. Like let's say you categorize. It's a non-profit organization. You know every year there is a question. Like CVP analysis. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15. So every year you have the question, partnership, accounting equation. Likewise, you have to make this analysis. For each paper, you make the analysis. Once you are done with one chapter, do all the papers. As Rifkan said, at least 10 years. We have done, from 1987, we have done the papers. Right? Search papers. And also not only this, right? If you another thing I want to add is the mind maps. And it's very important. Let's say if you take the first chapter in accounting, let's say I have created this to show you. Now, first chapter is, it's a need of accounting. So I've taken all these from the teacher's guide. So it says the main chapter and the sub-chapters. So you categorize the sub-chapters and create a mind map into that, right? Then now if you take one example, now if you have the definition, so from the definition itself, you can make other additional points, like different main points. So you don't write everything into the mind map. You have to write the main topic on the center and take the subtopic here and only the important points. You don't write paragraphs. And if there are further subtopics, you have to expand it. So that's how you create a mind map. Right? So the first thing, now you have only 6 months. Take the chapters. What are the topics that you have to cover? Get all the materials, the past papers, mind map. If I'm doing my A-level this year, I will be doing those things. Mind map, past papers, and also not only that, as Mr. Amin said, you have to focus not only the A-level papers, right? Not only the A-level papers. You have to see what are the questions that you get from other exams, like see AAT, Chartered, right? And also even CIMA, because everything is related. What you study in A-level, the same thing will be studied, you will be doing in other exams. Even in our universities, we were doing the same thing. Nothing was very much, new things. Everything is what you have studied from your A-levels. So that way you can easily, I think, complete your, syllabus within the next 6 months, right? So don't worry about, the 1.5 years which was gone. This is the right time. Anyway, even when we are studying, I know Rifkan and Amin and Azri and everybody will tell you that 6 months is more than enough, right? So that's the time. Anyway, when we were doing our A-level, we didn't study from the beginning. Everyone will agree that the last 6 months, last 4 months, 5 months only, we start, studying hard. Right? So don't worry. This is the right time for you to start. And I hope we can give a lot of suggestions, ideas for this. So,
Brother Shahnas, sorry for interrupting you. I think this 6 months is enough. I think enough to get through the exam. I think get a 3 years or get a normal pass. If the students are in this in the C level or B level, it will be like more than enough to go into the A's. But there are some students from the 2022 batch, they have enough time to go for island rank. I think they can, if they can consume this 6 months plus whatever the remaining period, they can go for island rank. So we have to mention that as well.
Excuse me, Azri and Shihan, can I take about 30 seconds?
Yes.
I want to wrap up something.
Yes.
I feel since we are Zairians, it's our bounden duty that when we are studying, we have to carry our fellow brothers who are weak in the subjects also with them, because we have to share our knowledge with them. Because if we don't help another fellow brother in our class, it's no point we only succeeding and entering the universities. So that's how we used to do. When we did A-levels, I used to get special permission from Mr. Alas and take my colleagues also with me to the public library to study. So unfortunately, only 3 of us entered the university, not everybody, but at least a lot of guys ended up in good positions. So I have to, just a piece of advice to the fellow brothers who are very bright, try to discuss the past papers, these things with the other fellow brother. You also will enhance your knowledge. You will share your knowledge and you will impart your knowledge also, carry them with you so that they also will succeed, you also will succeed. These are very important things as a fellow Zairian, I have to stress about it. Thank you.
So we have a very limited time, so we'll quickly move on to the next question. So this question is Rifkan, since he's an expert in economics subject. So there are some students who was asking some tips on studying economics. So Rifkan, it's for you.
Actually, economics was the favorite subject, my favorite subject during my A-levels time. So actually, I used to give more time to study economics because I was very much crazy on that subject, very much interested on that subject, economics. So we can divide this economic subject into 2 categories actually. There are some theoretical parts and there are some calculation parts. So usually we know that business studies is almost 90 to 100%. It's about theoretical subject, and accounting it's almost 80% is calculations. But economics has a theoretical part, also a calculation part. So we have to do both. So the theoretical part you have to keep study and memorize and think, and you have to do calculations as well. As I pointed out earlier, MCQ is the very important thing, because from MCQ we can get a good knowledge about the theoretical parts. As you shared your screen here, so first subject is Introduction to Economics. It's almost 100% theoretical. And second part is Demand and Supply. It's almost 80%, 70 to 80%, it's calculation. And government interventions also comes under second chapter, and production. Oh, this almost this, after this first chapter, all next 2 to 6, it almost 80% is calculations. So we have to do calculation actually. You have to find papers. You have to find papers and do your work. And in my school time, we didn't have a permanent teacher for economics. So I used to, as Azri knows this, and I used to go behind this our Kumudini madam. So I always behind her, because I didn't understand this introduction to economics part, especially that PPC part, because in class also they are telling PPC, production possibility curve, but I didn't understand anything. And even in my classes also, they completed that chapter. So I was little behind that. So what I did was, I went to Kumuduninis, and there was a sir called Mr. Lakmal. I went to both of them and I do my calculation. I attend past papers and questions. I'm going and showing to them, madam, please check this. So they are explaining me everything. Sometimes they don't take their breakfast. They are explaining me, and they are utilizing their relief time also. So if you don't understand anything, you have to question from your teacher, because they are always here to help us, because they also want us to get a 3 A's or enter to university. Plus one more thing I want to add, especially this in economic subject, what I did was, especially this demand and supply, as you showed, I created a mind map, but it's like a short note, but I'm not entering everything. I'm not including everything. I just write down the topics only. Let's say in demand. So in demand, I write what is demand, what are the category of demand, and there are some more things. So there are some more things. So what is supply? I just only write down the topics only. Then I try to memorize. Actually, I'm not memorized in the sense I don't memorize each and every word. I'm trying to understand what is that. Then I'm trying to keep an example. Let's say if it is about substitute good, I keep remember it as a tea or coffee. Okay. If it is a there's called one more after that substitute good. What is that next thing, Azri? Anupuraka?
I cannot remember the name.
That Anupuraka, actually I don't remember the English word for that. So for that I keep remember like sim and phone. So I keep remember the example. Then only I understand what is that. So keeping remembering, I mean example, preparing short notes and attending questions. This is only not limited to economics. It is applicable for all 3 subjects. And one more thing I did is we are discussing with our friends. They also studying that chapter. I'm also studying that chapter. We are discussing. Suddenly I'm asking from my friend, what is individual demand? He is explaining me. I know that what is individual demand, but so when he is saying that, I also keep remember these things. And if I miss something, I also get to know these things. So always discussions, attending past papers, and especially you should have a passion for that subject. Anything to add, Shihan?
Yeah. So yeah, that is I was also thinking the same. So since we have a very limited time, we'll move on to the next question. Thank you very much. And question number 5 is about, now we discussed about the study plans and for especially for 21 A-level students. We have some questions which is related to the career and selecting professional path and how to select the academic and professional career path. So question number 5 is, we have taken how to create my career path and what shall I do to achieve my dreams. So I would like to take this question later. We'll take question number 6. Which field is better, ICT or the business management? So I would like to ask from Mr. Amin, would you like to share some of your ideas on this?
Yes, I'll be more inclined because since I am into the business management side, but actually I got into the ICT knowledge when I was doing the articles at Coopers and Lybrand. So ICT is also very key because in the current context, you have to be up to date with the ICT knowledge. So, but when you are in the business management, it's easy to diversify yourself into different facets. Like Mr. Muzammil said, you can be a general management side, you can be an accountant, chartered accountant, marketing side, industrial management, so many things. But ICT is only either you are in the ICT side where you will be now either in the hardware or software, but now you have the latest, what you call the artificial intelligence and all related to ICT. So I would recommend is get into the business management side. While you are advancing in your career, you have to blend yourself with a knowledge of ICT also. So first get into a degree where in the business management, like you all have done now in like the University of Sri Jawaharlal, you get business management, accountancy, finance, so many fields, and then you diversify into ICT also as a added knowledge. This is what I would recommend.
Thank you, Mr. Amin. So we'll move on to the next question. I will need some details about state universities, CA, CIMA, ACCA, and professional courses. After A levels, what courses I should follow? Right. So I would like to add a few things for this. So, like Mr. Amin said, I'll add another part where most of the students doesn't know that if they do commerce, what are the areas that they can go. Right. If you see, I've taken just few areas. Like if you do commerce, you can be an accountant, an auditor, and other than that, you have different areas like finance and capital market, HR, marketing, travel and tourism, logistics, supply chain, banking, insurance, Islamic banking, like project management, and there are many more. Like not only accountant. Right. So even when we were doing our advanced level, we thought, okay, after A level, we have to do either chartered or CIMA or ACCA. Right? Other than that, there is nothing. But now, market is open, so you have so much options available, right? And selecting the qualification. So before you select the profession, before you selecting the qualification, you need to know how does the qualification works, right? So normally the qualification, we divide academic and professional. So you need to have the academic qualification and the professional qualification, both, right? Up to your A level and the degree and your master's and the PhD comes under the academic qualification. And academic qualification is not enough when you go to the corporate world, because in academics, we always focus on the theory. What is in the books, you study and write it in the exam and you get through. But when you go to the corporate world, you need to have the way that you do the things, right? So you need the practical. So practical is focused on professional exams like Chartered, CIMA, SCCA, or any other professional qualification. So to become an achiever or to succeed in your professional career, you need to have academic, professional, and as Mr. Muzammil said at the beginning, the skills, your public speaking, your personality, your professional professionalism, right? The grooming and communication skills, bargaining skills. So all the skills that you need to develop when you want to increase, when you want to achieve in your career. And also, I would like to tell a few more areas like when you select a qualification, you need to understand what are the exemptions that you get and what is the cost that you need to spend, right? If you complete one qualification, what are the other qualifications that you can get from that? Right? So there are so many areas that you can go to. If you go through the sites from different institutes, you can get this information, right? And also you need to understand if you select some qualification, you have to do the audit training or internship. Those things you have to ask from the people who have completed, right? There are two types of qualification, local and international. Local qualifications are the cost is reasonable, and other qualifications the cost is, but recognition wise you have same recognition. So think about three main things. One is your investment, other one is your ability to do your skill or your effort that you have to put, and other benefits that you get from the qualification. So other than Chartered, CIMA, SCCA, you might also think about marketing, SIM or SLIM or IBM, the professional management or logistic, right? So think about different areas that you can focus on. Don't think only Chartered, CIMA, SCCA, but there are some other areas. You might be specialized in project management, but you need to know. Now, most of the students after A-level, they don't know what is meant by project management, what is meant by logistics. But if you take the industry, there is a huge demand and they pay very high salaries for those kind of qualification and those kind of employment. So after A-level, how do you select? So you think about your capacity and the ability to pay. Right, so we'll move on to next question. So what are jobs we can get by studying commerce in advanced level? So I would like to ask from Mr. Amin to give some light on this.
Oh yes, it's a very vast field. It is like a sea. You have so much of jobs if you study in the commerce. As you mentioned earlier, you can be in the field of the accountancy profession, banking, Islamic banking, whatever you say. And there are some students who even didn't do the degree, like one of my colleagues now who was in the university with me, but he did chartered partially. But one of the important exams they did while soon after the university, the SLAS, Sri Lanka Administrative Service. One of the guys who is there is now Anusha Palpitia. He is the secretary to the Ministry of Industries. So if you are done commerce, he also did BCom, he did in the Sinhalese medium, because I did in the English medium. So there is a vast area. So there is no dearth for jobs, but it's not only the degree, you have to couple your degree with a professional qualification, then you can really compete in the market. This is one of the key. So you don't stick only to the academic side, the degree, you stick to a professional, like Shihan said, you have to couple your academic with a professional qualification, because with the financial constraints, everything, whatever in Sri Lanka, the best option is chartered. So the jobs, there are immense field, even one of the key things, if you are to compete internationally for jobs, is the language of English. This is very, very important. because we got the knowledge of English from teachers like Mr. Razik and Mr. Hanifa, who are talented teachers in Sri Lanka. So especially you compete in the language of English internationally with other foreigners because our pronunciation skills, the grammar, how you interact with others. I don't see any, there's a scarcity for jobs in the field of commerce. It's a vast area. I can simply say it's a sea. You just put a hook in the fish hook, you will catch a fish. So like that, it's easy. There is no dirt for jobs. But you couple your academic qualifications with a professional, then you can compete, and you can compete very high.
Thank you, Mr. So we'll move on to the next question. How can I select a suitable stream in the university? So now, when you do commerce, right, most of the students think once they do commerce for A-level, they have to select the management of field, the faculty, right? So not only commerce, you can also go to law faculty, and also you can go to information technology. And there are so many options. So based on your interest, you can select the courses, and if you take the department, now different universities allocate the departments in different ways. Right? When you take Colombo University, at the beginning itself, you can select the department, but in Jawaharlal University, it is based on the Z score that you get. So once you go to the university, you have to apply, and based on the Z score, the department will be provided. So there are different departments that you can apply, right? Different streams like accountancy, finance, marketing, HR. So based on the Z score, that you can go to you can select one of the department. But if you are interested, let's say you are interested in doing marketing, you can select whatever the interested stream. Anything to add, Mr. Amin or Rifkan?
Yes, Shehan, but because it's a wide field, because even you can go to law, even you can even go to architecture also. The University, while doing commerce, there is no constraints, because even you can go to architecture. The only thing is, if you are doing the architecture, they ask for O-level mathematics credit. That is important. I think what you explained, if you do commerce, management, law, IT, architecture, and the field is high. And just to touch upon in my previous question, I missed one point to answer. There was this: if I didn't get enough marks to enter the university, how can I enter the state universities?
Yes.
I would recommend, because a lot of I see in the university, a lot of guys who come not first try, they can't get Japura. So they do again the second time to get Japura. So don't lose your hope. Even give it another shot to get second time. At the second time, if you don't get Japura, okay, try to go to Colombo or Rajarata or somewhere. But I would prefer, while you're doing the second time for the A-levels, that you have enough time to revise and really go for the kill. You can make the attempt, because you don't have to go for classes or anything. You can do a lot of things. So don't lose hope. Even the second time, try to do, and try to enter a state university like Japura, because now, Shehan, you know the value of being in Japura. So, yes, so you know, since I am a product of Japura, I know, because still, just to crack a joke, even when I may meet my Sinhalese friends at who I meet at, when I meet in Sri Lanka at the Inland Revenue or at the customs, they don't call me by name. They call me by my nickname called Tambia. So that's how we interact. We drank the same plain tea and the same cigarette butt, So the value of Japura, once you get out and get the degree, only you know the value of it. So I would recommend the fellow brothers, even if you don't get the first time, try to do the second time, try to get into the Japura. This is one of the pinnacles you will achieve. It is in your whole career. It's not only a degree, it's a life, I can say. It's a Jeevitayak.
To add into that, I have a friend who was came to university doing A-level third time. He had a result to go to Columbia University, but he did the third time and came to the university. Now he's in Australia and he's in a very good position. So
maybe you might know one of your department heads previously was Hillary.
Yes.
Right? He did
Hillary
SEMA
and
with me.
Silva.
He did SEMA with me. So all are in good position. So try to enter Japura. That's what I would tell you.
And also, if you go to any department, any banks or anywhere, you will find, Japura.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
To add into this, we'll the last question. So that is also similar, question. So I will ask Amin to give a response to this. How to complete a degree within a short period of time? So.
Yeah, I would, alhamdulillah, now you all the students are very much blessed. Now there are no strikes and all those things. So during our time, we had the JVP instructions. Japura is the JVP then. So I lost a lot of my friends during the JVP time. So although we went the 84, 85 batch, when we graduated, our last year final exams was in 90 January. Now there is no issue. You can be assured by joining the state university, if you are doing a special degree, you will get out in 4 years. But I would recommend while doing in the 4 years, don't waste all your 4 years on the degree. Try to do chartered parallelly. And if you can afford financially also, try to do CIMA also. It's good. So by the time you get out of the university, openings are there even to join a good big four firm. Like you get into one of the good firms, big four firms, so they will easily employ you, and then you can do your CFA or something. So I would recommend while in the university, try to maximize and you all being in Colombo students, it's easy. You have all the materials available. So I'm rest assured now the situation is 4 years, you can be rest assured you can do the degree at the age of 22, 23. That's no issue.
So those are the questions that we had. And also I would like to give some more points to our students who have completed their advanced level. So just.
And Azri, I have a challenge to the students who is doing to do the exams in the 6 months time. I'll sum it up at the end. I have a challenge to give to the students.
It means to complete the A-level exams at first time?
Yes, who are going to do the 6 months. Yeah, they have to be first timers. I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun. You have some other things to discuss. Okay. So I'm going to give a challenge to the students. There will be something from me to that student.
Okay.
I will announce it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's a challenge from, I think, Mr. Amin. He is the head of the Kuwait Bank. Mashallah, one of the Zahirian, and he's, I think, he did the advanced level in 83.
83. That was during the riots. That is during the Jati Ali.
Mashallah. And I think Mr. Amin didn't tell one point. I think when he was in the second year of the advanced university, I think he have completed the chartered CA.
I completed both chartered and SEMA.
So inshallah, let's see who's going to take the challenge. Inshallah.
Okay. So to end the questionnaire, I would like to give some options available for students who have just completed at A-level. So you develop your soft skills. That is the main thing that you have to do right now. And follow a professional course, go to university, government or private. Some university, try the government university. That's the best, right? And you have other options like technical colleges, technical universities. Also find a job and you earn, you study from that earning, and also you can different foreign scholarships, so that also you can apply. So I end my sessions from this point. I hope we answered all the questions. So yeah, so I would like to, is there anything else Azri, that we need to speak to the students?
Actually, I want to inform our student after our vote of thanks, inshallah, I'll be stopping our live stream in the YouTube. So thereafter, you can open your mic and you can ask questions because me, Shihan brother, and Mr. Amin, they will be we will be here. So you can open your mic and you can ask the questions from whatever the language you prefer. It can be Sinhala, or it can be Tamil, or it can be in English. So we are here to resolve your issues before ending our program. So Mr. Shiana, but now we can move to, I think, the vote of thanks. So after the vote of thanks,
Yes.
we can conclude with the salawat. After that, students and everyone, those who want to raise questions with our speakers can stay.
Azri brother, I want to, can I just take 30 seconds?
Yes,
Yes.
sure, Mr. Amin.
Yeah, this is the challenge I am going to give. Now, this is for the commerce students. I hope I am not discriminating the bio or math students. Okay.
Okay.
Since I am a product of the students, I am telling whoever the Zairian student with the English single or Tamil medium, who gets
Okay.
3 A's in this 2021 December A-levels, okay?
Okay.
And who gets the highest Z score from Zaira,
Okay.
3 A-levels and first timer. He is to be first
Okay.
timer. He
Okay.
will get an award from me of rupees 100,000 rupees.
MashaAllah.
Okay?
Yeah, MashaAllah, it's great.
This is a
Thank
challenge.
you. Thank
So
you.
he should be a first time A-level and
Okay.
any of the mediums. And because since it's going to be a one award, the highest Z score, and he has to enter university. He can't get away without going to the university. He has to enter the state university. And the student will be certified by the principal, and the gift will be given by the principal to the student.
MashaAllah. It's great.
Okay? This is a
MashaAllah, it's
commitment
great.
from me.
Thank you, Mr. Amin. One of our best Zua member, I would say. He was there with us so many times. But to motivate our students, I want to share. Is it okay to share my story, Mr. Shiana? Just for 1 minute.
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, students, to be honest, Irfan knows about myself very well. Even I am a student. I am a dropout. After the O-levels, due to my the poor performance, I was rejected 2 times from Zahra College. I am not usually I'm not mentioning those stuff, but since this is the commerce stream in year, and I am from the commerce stream. So I just wanted to share my story. Even I was rejected from the Zahra College 2 times, and from all the Colombo school, I got rejected for the advanced level. So later on, I went for the Pizza Hut for call center, and I was even for the Pizza Hut call center, I rejected after 3 months training. So Alhamdulillah, after I think 1 or 2 months, I came again to the Zahra College for at that time the TK Azuri sir, principal sir was there. He gave me the admission. So after that, I entered the Zahra. So after all those hardship, Alhamdulillah, I think I managed to enter the University of Sri Jagadhanapura in the first shot, and I think at that year I am the second best resource. Rifkan was the first best resource. I'm the second best resource at that year. In that year, I can remember I scored around 94 for the economics, the subject of economics, because I was very weak in the economics. So that is my story. So I just want to motivate yourself. This 6 months is very enough to accept the Mr. Amin's challenge and win the award.
Thank you, Azri.
And Azri, that award will be given not to the student. It will be given to the student's mother by the principal. Okay? And he has to take the gift from his mother, like what we in Japura, we get the degree from the mother. The vice chancellor will give the degree to the mother, and normally in Sinhalese you have to bow down and worship and the mother and take. So we can't worship this. So the principal will give the award to the mother. He will take it from the mother. As you say in Sinhalese, they say Gedar Budu Namma.
Yes.
Yes. So
Mr.
that
Amin,
will be the challenge. Yes.
MashaAllah. One of our class teacher has said he'll be from my class. I think Miss Mahisha Zarub. She has said he'll be from my class, inshallah. Thanks to Mr. Amin. May Allah reward you in the abundance. MashaAllah.
Thank
and
you.
Mr. Amin, with your permission, I want to say this. after this program, I will be editing the YouTube video, and I'll be cropping you a challenge, and I'll be sharing with all our students, because there are like a less number of students in the Zoom participation. So I want to share this message with all our students. So is it okay, Mr. Amin?
Yeah, it will be a challenge, so that I want for them to fight for that gift.
MashaAllah, great.
Yes.
So I'll be sharing, inshallah. Thank you, Mr. Amin.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. So I would like to call Mr. Imran Ilmi to give the vote of thanks. Imran?
Yes, bro.
But Brother Imran, I think your mic is a little bit on. Can you? Your sound is not clear.
Can you hear me now?
Now it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. First of all praise to Almighty for making this happen and giving me the opportunity to thank everyone. Let me begin with Mr. Razin Hassan, Deputy Principal and Vice Principal of Advanced Level Section, Zahra College, Colombo. Thank you for joining the program, sir. And Sheikh Muhammad Mihilar, Director of Center for Excellence, sectional and stream heads and below teachers. Thank you for supporting and encouraging us from the beginning. I also thank our speakers for spending their valuable time for us. Special thanks to our keynote speaker and Zahira University alumni senior member Mr. ASM Muzammil, panelist Mr. Amin, Mr. Shihan Hanif, Mr. Rifkan, and all our senior members whoever joined us today. Not only for joining this event, and also for joining our group and making active contributions towards the development of our college and our group as well. I would like to thank Mr. Amin again for his wonderful challenge. Sir, I would like to thank you, sir, on behalf of the ZUA and the college. And last but not least, I need to thank all my ZUA team members, especially today our host, Mr. Ishwaq Ismat. You did a wonderful job, brother. Keep it up. And those who work hard behind the screen, Mr. Imtad, Hamdoon, Rasan, Mishal, and Hamad.
Brother, in
support us in some way.
Brother Imran, I think your line was interrupted. Brother Imran, can you hear us?
Azri, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, there was a coverage issue. So thank you very much for everyone to make this happen, for supporting us to make this event happen. So Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imran. I think, dear students, I have shared a feedback forum. If you are leaving, just please give the feedback and you can leave. And also, thank you very much, Mr. Amin. Thank you very much, Mr. Shihan Hanif, brother, and our host, and our brother Rifkan, the speaker, and everyone, those who participated, and from all our college teachers, sectional heads, and our principal, vice principal, and everyone, and thanks for the support. And inshallah, now I'm going to stop the live streaming and following the salawat. Once the live streaming is stopped, like, you can raise your question, opening your mic. Hamad. Shihan, brother?
Yes.
can we conclude now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll recite the salawat and we'll wind up the event. Thank you.
Yes.
Subhanakallah, alhamdulillah.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت صلى الله عليه وسلم صلى الله عليه وسلم